Hey bestie, welcome back to the channel. So buckle up because today's story is kind of wild. Sister Wives Season 21 is officially confirmed, and Mykelti Brown just dropped some major bombshells about her relationship and the backlash surrounding Ryan Anderson. And honestly, this one has me side-eyeing everyone involved. I mean, we've seen some drama from this family before, but this one feels different. Mykelti's venturing into territory that even Christine likely didn't anticipate. And you know when the Browns are going on about new beginnings and fresh starts? It's code for something messy is cooking. Now I'll get real, when I initially viewed the news that TLC picked up Sister Wives for a 21st season, my initial thought was, what is there left to display? Like, what else can conceivably go wrong for Kody and what remains of his family? But apparently there's still more drama in the works. And the focal point this time, Mykelti Brown, Christine's daughter who's been hyping up her personal transformation on social media for weeks. Fans have been analyzing every single Instagram story, every live, every quote post that she posts. And now that she's talking about her new relationship, it's setting the fandom ablaze. Before we even go there though, I just have to mention whenever the Browns say they're moving on or healing, it always culminates in some public drama. Always. Like clockwork. So in this episode we're breaking down everything Mykelti said, what it really means, and how Ryan Anderson, her husband, is at the center of all this backlash. We're going to discuss how the fans are responding, what TLC may be cooking up behind the scenes, and why this may turn out to be one of the most infamous storylines the show has ever had. And cautionary warning, some of what's being released currently may alter your perception of Mykelti entirely. Okay, let's get into the whole picture. Because Season 21 isn't solely about what we're witnessing on screen, it's about what's boiling over behind it. So let's discuss how this all began. Because Mykelti didn't wake up one morning and decided to spill her heart out on the internet. It started quietly, the way most Sister Wives plotlines start, with a few mysterious posts that stirred people up. Few weeks ago, Mykelti began posting these lengthy captions all about growth, trust, and listening to your heart when your heart's complicated. And you know how it is with the Sister Wives fandom, give them 3 words and they'll construct an entire theory from it. In hours, Facebook groups and Red threads were already assuming that something was brewing between her and Ryan Anderson, her husband. Then came the bombshell. In a recent livestream session with supporters, Mykelti said she'd been re-evaluating relationships and learning how to set new boundaries. She didn't mention Ryan by name, but the chat went wild. You could almost sense the collective intake of breath through the post. Now, I'm being kind here. Social media can distort things. Someone can post one ambiguous line and next thing you know they're trending for all the wrong reasons. But if you examine Mykelti's history, she's not really subtle. Do you remember when she teased Christine's breakup several months prior to when it was on the show? Yes, she likes to taste drama. And let's be real, when a personality who's made their name built on family suddenly begins posting inspirational quotes about letting go and choosing peace, fans are gonna catch on. The following day, she shared a picture of herself ringless. That was all. The internet lost its mind. Theories varied from they're just hogging space to Ryan cheated. Some fans actually had the audacity to say TLC was filming the aftermath for Season 21 already. Personally, I believed Mykelti knew what she was doing. This family knows the ways of the internet. Controversy is hits, and hits are what keep the show on the air. But the thing that stopped me in my tracks wasn't the lost ring, it was how unruffled she appeared. No long explanation, no denial, just quiet confidence. Almost like she was waiting for people to react before she said anything. And oh, did they react? Next, we'll get into what Mykelti actually said when she finally addressed the rumors, and why her words might have made things worse instead of better. Alright, so after days of silence and wild speculation, Mykelti finally decided to speak up, and she didn't do it via a public statement or press release. No, she went live on Instagram in her car, coffee cup held in hand, eyes either welling up with tears or brimming over with laughter. You know that state of exhausted calm one gets when one has finally reached the end of one's road. That was the energy. She begins by saying, I know there's been a lot of discussion online, and I just want to clear the air before things get blown out of proportion. Which, let's be real, typically means, yes, it's bad, but I'm going to downplay. Then she confesses that she's been spending time working on herself, and that Ryan and she've been getting through challenges. Not quite a breakup post, but not exactly sounding like a honeymoon either. Anything but guesswork. Those phrases kept being repeated about growth, communication, and individual healing. The same buzzwords the influencers use when they're trying to discuss something serious without actually discussing it. They started analyzing each pause and facial twitch within minutes. "She seems relieved," one remarked. "This is not the face of a woman in a contented marriage," another posted. What struck me most, however, was how guarded she was. Every sentence sounded weighed, as if she were attempting not to make it worse, yet also trying to convey a message to someone. Perhaps Ryan, perhaps her family, perhaps TLC, because let's be real, these individuals are professionals at this point. With 20 seasons under their belt, they have mastered how to fall just enough to keep themselves in the spotlight without giving too much away. It's almost an art form with the Browns. And the thing is, the more Mykelti spoke about rediscovering herself and learning what she deserves, the more the conversation erupted. Responses such as, "Is she leaving him?" and "Please let me know she's finally finished with Ryan" poured in. By the time the live was over, videos of it were all over TikTok, and naturally the blogs caught wind of it hours later. Mykelti Brown speaks out about relationship issues. But this is where it gets ugly, because Ryan didn't keep his mouth shut for long, and what he posted afterward. Yeah, that's where the backlash really started. So here's where things really start spiraling. A few hours after Mykelti's livestream, Ryan jumped on his own social media, and his tone could not have been more different. If Mykelti was being level-headed, Ryan was being defensive and irate-looking, like he'd just been caught off guard. He made this huge Facebook post that began with "People need to stop believing everything they hear online," and concluded with something about keeping family issues in house, which, sure, cool, but sharing that publicly is essentially an open invitation for everyone to make even more guesses. He didn't call Mykelti out by name, but come on, who else would he be speaking about? The comment section flooded immediately. Half of the fans were taking Mykelti's side, responding, "If she's worried about herself, let her." The other half called Ryan gaslighting her on Facebook, which is sort of a crazy charge, but this fan base doesn't necessarily do level-headed. Then Ryan messed it up. Someone said, "So you two are still together," and rather than dismissing it, he responded with a one-word answer, "Depends." That single word had the internet in flames. Depends on what? On the day, on whether or not TLC's filming. Who's asking? Within the morning, screenshots were out everywhere, and fans already began to demand TLC to come clean on it. Prior to season 21's showtime, the program lives on family drama, but actual cracks, such as this, can get even the producers worried. It's one thing when a couple has a fight on screen, it's another when it bleeds onto the internet months before the premiere of the season. Honestly, the entire ordeal made me think of when Christine and Kody's breakup leaked, before it was meant. TLC had to jump into action to spin it as part of the storyline. It feels like déjà vu, except this time it's Mykelti and Ryan in the middle of the storm. And I'll say this, Ryan's energy online doesn't scream steady husband. It feels defensive, like he's trying to control the narrative before Mykelti does. But the thing about the Sister Wives fandom, they can smell defensiveness a mile away. You already know what happens next. The instant Ryan began posting, the fandom was in full detective mode. Screenshots, past Facebook posts, Reddit comments. It felt like everyone suddenly had their own FBI badge. Everyone began digging through years of Ryan's likes and comments. They uncovered posts that individually didn't amount to much, but when stacked together, painted a picture that didn't look good. Old jokes about keeping women in line. A few memes that didn't age well. One quote that read, "Real men don't listen to gossip," which, given the timing, just felt like a shot at Mykelti's fans. And because the internet never forgets, someone even pulled up an old clip of him from a family livestream, where he seemed to talk over Mykelti. That one circulated fast. By the following day, TikTok had all manner of individuals referring to him as controlling and the next Kody too. Harsh, but not surprising. Now this is where things get fuzzy. Some of the fans were rallying around Mykelti, stating that she deserved better. Others stated it was a misunderstanding, that he was simply awkward in front of the camera, and you can just imagine the TLC producers sitting back watching this with a bowl of popcorn. because drama sells. But the part that made me pause from scrolling, Mykelti did not leap to his defense, not a single time. Normally she's quick to set things straight when individuals misinterpret her family. Not this time though. No comment, no story post, complete silence. And that silence, that says more than any livestream ever has. To be fair, I think she was giving it room to breathe. When the internet jumps on someone you love, you rush to defend them, or you step back and say, maybe everyone's not wrong. It's complicated, especially when you're living it out in front of millions of people who think they know your marriage better than you do. By the weekend, fans were tagging Christine and Tony, asking if they'd seen the drama. Undefined, that's when it really started feeling like a full-blown family situation, not just an internet rumor. And trust me, Christine's response didn't calm anything down. Alright, so here's where the intrigue begins. Naturally, the Browns didn't remain quiet for too long. After Mykelti and Ryan's online activity went viral, some other family members began making subtle allusions online. And by subtle, I mean cryptic Instagram posts and stories that were yelling, "I know what's happening, and I'm observing." Christine shared a picture of herself with a coffee mug, and the caption, "Some truths only make sense in silence." Classic Christine, completely ambiguous, completely intentional, and fans instantly interpreted it as a shout-out to Mykelti, and possibly even a tactful clapback to Ryan. Then there's Tony. His own updates were equally cryptic but somehow even dark. One day it's a quote concerning karma, then another day it's a picture of a road, with the following caption, "Some journeys are meant to be taken alone." Fans were freaking out, everyone was tagging everyone else, attempting to join the dots as if they were at a crime scene. Meanwhile, on social media, Mykelti and Ryan's tension got almost movie-like. Folks began to wonder who was going to crumble first. And here's the thing, this is typical sister wives drama. Public spectacle, Paul internal mess, a viral pay dirt. TLC knows their stuff. They live for this sort of thing. But it also made larger questions. How will this impact filming on season 21? Will Ryan appear on screen attempting to clear his name? Will Mykelti have a storyline of her own separate from him for the first time? And most importantly, what does this bode for family dynamics in the future? It's easy to forget, particularly if you're just seeing clips online, that these are actual people working through actual feelings. But that doesn't hinder fans from analyzing every movement, every word, and every posting like it's trial evidence. Personally, I couldn't help but recall the previous seasons. Do you remember when Christine and Kody's tensions poured online? This all too eerily familiar, but with the next generation in charge. And from my perspective, Mykelti is more calculating than anyone knew. She's not merely responding, she's dictating the situation, in her own understated way. Then, with the family responses stirring up a hornet's nest, let's dive into the fan outrage and how the web took Ryan's comments and blew them up into full-on fury. That's when things got serious. Now, so at this point, the internet had officially lost its mind. Fans were breaking down Ryan's Facebook update, his vague responses, and all his nuanced moves on the internet. Some of the threads actually looked like a detective investigation in the courtroom, screenshots, timestamps, and dramatic testimony everywhere on Reddit. The takeaway, no one was here for his vague defensive attitude. Comments varied from "he's gaslighting her" to "I can't believe how controlling he sounds." Even some fans went so far as to comb through his history of Instagram likes and past memes, creating a narrative that made it seem like Ryan was not necessarily the supportive husband that he attempted to depict. And yes, people were merciless, and Mykelti remained quiet. And let me tell you, nothing gets the sister wives fandom angrier than silence. They begin to fill in the blanks for themselves, and that's where rumors spin. Within a matter of hours, threads were drawing parallels to past seasons' family drama, particularly how Christine's family handled public opinion. Something I found fascinating is that much of the backlash wasn't even about whether Ryan and Mykelti were or weren't together. It was about tone and intent. Folks were reading between the lines, as if every pause and word was a statement of something more. And really, considering how much care Browns put into maintaining their public image, it's no wonder folks are analyzing everything. Some fans were even crying out for TLC to intervene, wondering if the network would broker or at least capture this for season 20. Which naturally is understandable. TLC lives for this drama. This is what they live for, and the fan madness practically ensures ratings. Meanwhile, there were voices coming to Ryan's defense, saying the criticism was exaggerated and that we just don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But as is true with sister wives, going out of your way to defend someone is complicated. Anything you do can be turned into more controversy fuel, and that's what makes this family beautiful and crazy. Public statements and social media messages aren't merely updates, they're provocation. They initiate conversations, arguments, and conjecture that spin far out of the reach of any single individual to handle. Now let's discuss how Mykelti is coping with all of this, because if you think she's sitting back sipping tea, think again. She is well aware of what's going on online, and unlike Ryan, she doesn't answer back with defensiveness. She responds with calculated calmness. Several days into the fan frenzy, she uploaded a brief Instagram story that read, "Growth is quiet. It doesn't need approval." And in all honesty, that one sentence was the catalyst for a frenzy. The people were analyzing each word, with some saying, "She's dumping him," or "She's finished playing nice," or "This is her big reveal." And you could see the anticipation building, like, we're all just waiting for the next step. What's interesting to me is that she didn't make clear anything about Ryan, or if they were together or if they were broken up. Not a single word on either of those things. Instead, she talked about herself. And that's vintage Mykelti. She's mastered getting her hands on the reins, without actually going up against it. At this juncture, I couldn't help but think about how far she's come since her early days on the show. She used to be more reserved, more introverted, practically always deferring to mom Christine or older siblings. Now she's claiming her narrative. She's becoming the kind of Brown who can make a statement without even saying much, which is honestly impressive. Fans started creating their own timelines, analyzing Mykelti's past posts and interviews. Some speculated that she had been preparing this reveal for months, slowly planting hints, like breadcrumbs to prepare the audience. And considering how the internet exploded, it seems like that strategy worked perfectly. The backlash toward Ryan, that made her grip stronger. People were standing with her. There were defensive posts, comments supporting her choices, and even memes shaming Ryan's ambiguous post. Social media turned into a war ground, and Mykelti, she was standing passively in the middle, allowing the storm rage around her. But the actual question is, while she's handling public opinion so skillfully, how is that impacting her personal life? Because as much as you want to speculate, there's a human in the middle of all that. And let's be real, dealing with this level of scrutiny ain't easy. Okay, now it gets even more interesting. I was able to dig into what sources within the family are telling me, and yes, I'm talking about those little whispers that typically never end up online. Apparently, Mykelti and Ryan's relationship has been strained for some time. And by strained, I mean that they've been attempting to deal with a great deal of personal adjustment, while also being under the microscope. According to one source, Mykelti has been becoming more independent, prioritizing her career and self-care, while Ryan has been finding it difficult to make adjustments. And you can sort of understand how this might create tension. Picture having every argument, every choice, and every move analyzed by millions of fans online. It's draining. Fans may see this as mere drama for TV, but sources say there's more to it than that. Mykelti isn't causing drama, she's establishing boundaries, and Ryan hasn't been as much of a communicator, which only escalated the public reactions. It's like seeing a slow-motion train wreck, but also seeing someone get to learn how to stand up for herself. Suspiciously, the source also suggested that TLC producers have been secretly recording these scenes, knowing they'll get good play in season. They view this as a defining storyline. Mykelti's personal evolution, the public outrage, and the family dynamics all come crashing together into the drama the show feeds on. And you can tell, even from clips and social media updates, that the rest of the family is paying attention. Christine, Janelle and Meri have all made subtle posts about self-reflection, independence, and the importance of support systems. It's almost like they're indirectly commenting on Mykelti's situation without ever naming names. Classic sister wives energy. This insider perspective makes it clear that what we're seeing online isn't just a heated moment, it's the result of years of relationships, tensions, and public exposure finally reaching a boiling point. Mykelti is coming out making choices for herself and the world is observing, analyzing and responding. Now let's discuss TLC because let's get real, they're not just sitting idly by and allowing this to happen naturally. They observe the internet hype, the fan theory, and the Ryan Mykelti drama, and they realize precisely what they possess in their grasp. Season 21 could be shaped almost entirely around this storyline. Mykelti's personal growth, her new relationship dynamics, and the public backlash toward Ryan are all narrative gold. TLC loves a storyline that combines personal vulnerability with public controversy, and with millions of viewers dissecting every move online, the network has a guaranteed built-in audience before the season even premieres. We've seen this before with the Browns. Remember when Christine's tension with Kody became central in earlier seasons? That fueled months of drama and drove massive engagement. Season 21 seems like it's following a similar blueprint, but with Mykelti stepping into a more prominent role. This is what I believe is going to occur. TLC will most probably focus on Mykelti's emotional path, portraying her as independent and introspective. Ryan's responses will create contrasts simultaneously, tension without portraying him as the villain, but providing the audience with enough to argue over. And you know how Sister Wives does it, they're big on those dramatic pauses, side-by-side reactions, and confessional interviews. Mykelti's inner monologue, her calm but assertive expression, will be contrasted with Ryan's frustration and defensive outbursts. They'll lap it up. Of course, this isn't only about ratings, it's also about legacy. Mykelti is taking center stage, becoming a focal point in the story. It's like the show is quietly passing the torch from Kody and the older wives to the next generation. And how is she managing everything? It's providing viewers with a reason to care, relate, and fight on social media. But here's the wild part. Even though this is scripted for television, the stakes are real. Mykelti's family dynamics, public perception and personal boundaries are all intertwined with what we'll see on screen. It's messy, emotional, and exactly what fans love. Alright, so now we have to discuss how this all went totally viral. If you thought Sister Wives viewers were capable of being patient or relaxed, forget it. The second Mykelti posted that mysterious Instagram story regarding growth being quiet and Ryan went defensive, the internet went haywire. In a matter of hours, screenshots were shared on Twitter, TikTok compilations were emerging, and Reddit threads were sprouting faster than a wildfire. Fans were dissecting every word, every facial expression, every pause from Mykelti's livestream, connecting dots and forming narratives like it was a detective case. By the next day, TikTok had dozens of videos titled things like Mykelti Brown breaks silence, Ryan's reaction, Sister Wives new drama you need to know. Comparisons of clips of her composed attitude and Ryan's argumentative remarks were ongoing, with overlays like she's winning and he knows it, or the internet can't handle this tension. Some of these clips had hundreds of thousands of views within 24 hours. You could feel the buzz even before season 21 began filming. Reddit was just as hot. There was one popular thread that dissected each encounter between the two during the last month, and within a day it had thousands of comments. Fans were arguing about whether Mykelti was going to quit, if Ryan was being controlling, and even guessing how TLC would spin all of this for the upcoming season. There were interaction maps, screenshots of posts in chronological order stacked on top of one another, and commentary from all sides imaginable. Some were actually concerned, some were taking sides, and some just showed up for the drama. Typical Sister Wives fandom energy. In addition, Instagram was filled with fan accounts sharing side-by-side images of Mykelti and Ryan's posts. Overnight, memes appeared. One of the popular ones said, "Her tranquility is more deafening than his words." Another, making light of Ryan's defensive responses, wrote, "The one-word answers we didn't invite." And you could understand why it turned into a full-blown social media craze. The interaction alone likely set new records for any pre-season buzz in the series' history. And it wasn't limited to fans. Even online opinion sites and celebrity gossip blogs caught wind of this, producing articles breaking down each detailed gesture. Sister Wives Mykelti Brown's empowering stand and Ryan Anderson Sparks' internet backlash were just some of the trending headlines. This was no longer a family saga, it was now an official viral phenomenon, What's interesting is the pace at which this type of news propagates these days. One Instagram post can start talking the world over within hours. Mykelti's measured approach, contrasted with Ryan's defensive energy, created the perfect storm for virality. Fans weren't just watching, they were participating, analyzing, and shaping the narrative in real time. Now, here's where things get even more layered. Because while the fans are losing their minds online, the Browns themselves aren't just sitting back. The family has been hypersensitive to how public opinion impacts the show, and this latest round of Mykelti-Ryan drama is no different. From sources close to the family, Christine has been subtly attempting to mediate, dropping subtle hints to both Mykelti and Ryan on how to proceed. But let's be honest, Christine's version of mediation more often means posting vague Instagram stories and expecting people to pick up on the message without ever actually saying it. It's part of the family's low-key social signaling, and fans, they're masters at interpreting. Meri and Janelle have gotten involved too, but for the most part behind the scenes, they're said to be upset that the situation is blowing up so publicly, particularly because TLC's cameras are in love with conflict. Though they may be desperate for off-camera chats, they are aware that scandal translates into viewers. The conflict between desiring to guard the family and being aware that it is a plotline contributes to the Browns' boundless appeal to the public. Tony's strategy, however, has been one of passive remarking as well as calculated silence. Some sources suggest he's intentionally staying neutral to avoid inflaming things, but his subtle social media posts hint at support for Mykelti. Fans have been dissecting those posts as if they were cryptic messages, and honestly, it's wild how much attention every minor move gets. The bigger picture here is how Mykelti's growing independence is shaking up traditional family dynamics. She's no longer deferring to the older siblings or playing by the same rules that she used to. And Ryan, he's stuck in the middle, trying to hold on to his position while being attacked online, and coping with a partner who's growing more self-assured and assertive. This is just the kind of plot TLC is crazy about: generational conflict, emotional maturation, and public spectacle all rolled into one. But unlike previous seasons, this is not merely scripted drama, it's real-life repercussions unfolding in real time, with social media serving as both a witness and megaphone. Fine, let's discuss how all of this is probably going to go down in season. If you think TLC will simply gloss over Mykelti and Ryan's drama, don't. This is the kind of storyline that anchors a season, and producers know it. Every glance, every pause, every word will be framed to maximize drama while also showing Mykelti's journey. What's fascinating is that Mykelti's independence is starting to redefine the narrative of the show. In previous seasons, we've mostly seen the story through Kody and the older wives, but now the next generation is taking center stage. Mykelti taking the lead, managing backlash, setting boundaries, and navigating an intricate relationship is the type of material that will speak to both devoted fans and new audiences. TLC will most assuredly contrast her strategic and serene approach to public backlash against Ryan's more volatile energy. Confessionals will likely emphasize her introspection, while Ryan's scenes could portray tension and miscommunication. This contrast isn't only engaging, it's real. A lot of fans have witnessed relationships where one of the partners copes with stress in a different way than the other, and the Browns are making that TV gold. One thing that really intrigues me is how this might affect the rest of the family's represent. Christine, Janelle, and Meri may find themselves shifting their role in the narrative, providing advice or showing quiet judgment in ways that will keep people buzzing. And Tony, he could become a behind-the-scenes mastermind, helping Mykelti while allowing the public to witness the drama play out. This season promises to be a mixture of personal development, family drama, and public opinion. Mykelti isn't only engaging in the drama, she's actually creating it, demonstrating that she can find her voice in a family that's been controlled by elder stories for decades. And here's the punchline: this isn't merely entertainment. Mykelti's journey reflects generational changes, the complexities of growing up in a very public family, and the challenge of balancing private life with a social media-driven audience. That's why Season 21 has the potential to be one of the most talked about seasons yet. Alright, we've finally made it to the conclusion, and honestly, This entire Mykelti-Ryan storyline is shaping up to be one of the most compelling arcs in Sister Wives history. It's messy, emotional, and very, very human. We've got social media drama, family tension, fan speculation, and the way TLC will likely frame all of this for maximum impact. It's the perfect storm. Here's what stands out to me the most: Mykelti's growth. She's no longer the quiet daughter in the background. She's asserting herself, handling backlash with calm precision, and controlling her narrative in a way that shows maturity and confidence. That level of independence isn't only good TV, it's also inspiring to those of us who have watched her develop over the years. Ryan, conversely, finds himself in a tight spot, defensive online, picked apart by fans, and navigating a partner who's taking charge of her narrative publicly. He's most certainly under pressure, and rightfully so, because the way the internet has responded is just indicative of how much people care about this family. Each post, each story, each response is broken down, criticized, and discussed, adding another level of drama the show lives for. The involvement of the family, albeit sometimes subtle, brings out the dynamics that make Sister Wives such compelling viewing. Christine, Janelle, Meri, and Tony each have their own methods of interacting, signaling, or playing dumb, which adds complexity to the story. It's a reminder that even as Mykelti steps into the spotlight, the family's legacy and interpersonal dynamics continue to shape everything she does. Looking ahead, Season 21 has the potential to be both dramatic and deeply personal. Mykelti's independence and the tension with Ryan could become the season's central narrative, with the rest of the family providing context, perspective, and contrast. Fans will be dissecting every scene, every glance, every word, just as they did online, making it one of the most interactive and talked about seasons yet. At the end of the day, what we're witnessing is more than just reality TV drama. It's a story about growth, boundaries, and the challenges of navigating relationships under the spotlight. Mykelti Brown's narrative this season isn't one of controversy alone, it's one of taking back her voice, enduring backlash, and proving that even within as public and criticized a family as the Browns, growth is achievable. So what are your predictions? Will Mykelti's assertiveness and Ryan's defensive behavior rule Season 21? Will the other family members adapt, or will tensions continue to build? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. Don't forget to thumbs up this video if you liked this analysis, subscribe if you're new here, and the bell so you never miss an update on everything Sister Wives. Thanks for tuning in, bestie. See you next time.